Welcome back, everybody, to the Aliens and Angels podcast. Today, I'm very excited to bring back my special guest, Elsa Dillon. Elsa Dillon is the mother of 8 children with husband Richard Dillon, and they are a family of 10 experiencers. Both Elsa and Richard are international fashion photographers and videographers, shooting celebrities and behind-the-scenes professionals for magazines and advertising for over 3 decades. This is the Dillons' second incarnation here on Gaia. They are a family of oversouls, all called in together again to incarnate in this realm. They have experienced over 600 beings to date in many forms and multidimensional realms. With their oversoul connections, they receive messages and happenings with the paranormal. All of the links are featured below in the description. Please do check me out, subscribe to my channels, leave me a comment, like my videos, and also share my content with your friends. And I'm happy to announce that you can now join my channel and take advantage of my perks. So without further ado, we'll bring on Elsa. Elsa, welcome to Aliens and Angels. I know this isn't your first time here, but it's always a pleasure to visit with you and to learn more about your experiences.
Hi, Karen. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So, you're kind of the matriarch of a whole clan of oversouls, and you've incarnated all at the same time, obviously by agreement. And now you're having all of these amazing experiences. For those in the audience that aren't familiar with the term oversoul, do you want to talk a little bit about what that means and how that affects your family?
Well, thanks, Karen, for introducing, because it's hard hearing your story over and over again, and then finding an angle to come out to see it with fresh eyes. But oversoul's a great one. Oversoul to me is essence, your essence, and as we go through this process, our journey here, we're picking up new information all the way, and our essence is collecting it, and it's adding to our essence, but the essence is still the core of you. And we believe in the messages and happenings that we've had through different family members that your essence marks on different realms. And we call it incarnate because we haven't got another term for it yet. And I've been shown a lot of times that there's no actual word in the English language that describes it. So the essence is a lovely one because it makes me think of all the beautiful smells that you get from flowers and spices. But it really, that's what it is. It's the purest version of your soul touching down in. And so you can incarnate here in Gaia a few times, like some people, multiple, like many times. Then you can incarnate in other places as well. And you collect information as you go. And sometimes that comes up when you incarnate again. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it never comes up. But I think the whole journey of this is that it does come up. So then you can integrate it and then create more from the new version of you. So it's always creating from the new version of you. And the new version of you can be as I woke up this morning, or after I've had a meditation, or after I've gone for a work. That's a new version of me, new version of me. So you're always, like I call it Russian doling, where you're just layering all
Mhm.
the onion. You hear this term a lot. I use it a lot. Onions
Mhm.
are really spiritual. Good way to describe things a lot because they make you cry.
Mm.
And but some, you realize they help with inflammation. So yeah, onions really important topic for me. But I keep it light because we've had to explain it to children.
Mhm.
In this has been a lot of scary moments, a lot of dark moments, a lot of um, reassessing how we believe something to be, whether it be another person or another entity or a ghost or the land or water. And, um, even the so-called puppeteers or the industry that we used to work in, just working it all out and just realizing it's all frequency and how
Mhm.
your essence rolls with it. Did I
Mhm.
explain
So
that okay?
yeah, actually, it was very good. Now, from what I'm understanding from what you're saying too, is that we're all connected to our oversouls. Just most of us are so preoccupied with three-dimensional worldly pursuits, we may not be aware of it. Whereas your family's acutely aware of that essential connection. Is that accurate, Elsa?
Well, with the children, they actually don't know any other way. The actual challenges, I guess, they're sort of having as they go into adulthood is why don't they understand? So their way of perceiving others is probably like how the galactic ones look at us going, what? They've come here and they've got amnesia? What do you mean they don't know? How can they be missing out on all this? And it's very hard for them because they want great things for their friends and boyfriends and girlfriends, and
Mhm.
they're not seeing it. They're not seeing it, the version that they see. And their version is not always the easiest version, but it definitely has more ease and grace than this version over here. And this version over here has been created by other beings for a reason, for them.
Mhm. Mhm.
It has served us in certain ways. It also has not served us in certain ways. And now we're all waking up, and they knew this time was coming, or the quickening, and so yeah. So now we're having a lot of chaos and contrast, and this is why we've all, like yourself, Karen, have come out because um, we're not the saviors, but we're the we can see things. We can
Yeah.
hear things and they can't yet. So that's okay. We're just showing them that you can.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I would agree in my own analysis. If you've swam in a certain environment your whole life, that's just normal. It's not, you don't classify it as being unique or different or anything like that. And it took me a long time, like really long time, to realize that other people didn't have the same perceptions as me. And it's quite literally like they're born and no disrespect to people with disabilities, but I'm just going to use these terms. It's as though the whole world is blind, deaf, can't smell, can't taste. They're missing so much that comes absolutely natural to us. And it's a shock to realize that there aren't that many of us. But thank God, especially in the last 5 years, I've been meeting other people like me. I keep meeting people, well, through my show and also through Facebook and other connections groups, other people, and I listen to their experiences and I go, "Oh my God, I thought I was the only one." I thought maybe that was my crazy side that I was just hiding or something like that. So yeah, it must be difficult for the children because we live in a world where we want to make associations with other people, we want to be close to them, but how do we even communicate when the other people are not having the same experiences. So it must be very challenging for your family because you're kind of all in it together. I have sort of one son who is pretty much got one foot into the esoteric, but my daughter, she's pretty much wanting to just be normal. And um, I think she's capable of having these experiences, but it's just easier for her to live in a world where she doesn't talk about it.
Yeah. Well, look, it's been a tricky one for me, because for the mums, you always want your kids to have the ease and grace. But now I realize that that's not what this is about. I'm not here to soften the blow. I'm not. It's not, so that's so hard for as parents. Or if you've got a pet, it's the same thing, because you just don't want them to have that experience. But if I
Mhm.
don't let them have that experience, what am I doing? Then I'm becoming a distraction. And so, sometimes through over love or over kindness, I guess you step over. We say you're stepping like out of your orbit or out of your spin. So you're going off your path and interfering with their path, which
Mhm.
rattles your path. So then you got to come back and realign your path. And so I have done this a lot. So look, it's the more that this all comes about, probably they show me 3 years and 5 years and a decade. Well, it'll be very different. So we won't even
Mhm.
really need to talk about this, because it will just be the way it is.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then we're going to get into some really interesting stuff, not us personally, but everyone, because this will be super intelligence. This will be at another level that they haven't. This will be amazing, because we'll be able to go from everything we know from there. And
Mhm.
that's exciting, because that's where, I didn't think for a while there, with all the bad news all the time, you don't think that we were getting there. But it's exciting,
Mhm.
because you can feel it, right, Karen? You can feel it
Mhm.
changing.
Yep, absolutely. And I also think that um, those of us who have come back, I think we've come back by choice to serve a purpose. And I think that we are going to be very much needed as support people. Because it seems like people are waking up faster and faster and all over the place, and they don't really know where to go. And so, what I'm also trying to focus on is providing support and linking up with other people who provide support so that we can be here to help the newly awakened and those who are suddenly experiencing their gifts and feeling isolated from the rest of humanity, because that seems to be part of the process. I wanted to, please feel free to add any thoughts you might have to that, Elsa, but I also wanted us to talk a little bit about the concept of spin beings. And the way I understand it may not be the way you mean it. So I would really love some clarification from you. It seems to me that we're all energetically have a spin, kind of a right-hand spin or a left-hand spin or an upward spin or a downward spin. And depending on our spin, as to what we can see and experience, and it's also possible for us to alter our spins. Now, do I have that right, or can you add more clarity to that concept?
So you brought up a very interesting word. So when I'm speaking to someone, they'll give me Karen does this a lot. She has trigger words. She triggers me. So you said mean. Mean is the mean high watermark, and mean is it has a dual meaning. Can you see the wordplay in all this? So meaning is me in, and meaning means where your baseline is. And this is what
Mhm.
happens with terminology and words, and this is what happens with the term spin beings. It's spin beings means this, But then if you understand different terms of spin or go through different languages or cultures, spin means this and this and this, and this is what happens. And what's funny is when I was a fashion photographer, I used to do promos sort of thing of all the works we would have coming out around the world or covers. And Richard always loved that on all the promotions, it always had a double meaning, like proof is in the pudding or things like this. You know, they always have an innuendo, meaning it could go this way, it could go that way. And then that's kind of how we have to be now, is we have to allow others to go this way or that way, this way or that way. And we're sort of adjusting and shuffling with each spin. So I have a spin, Karen has a spin, Richard has a spin, the girls, the boys have a spin, and my spin goes this way, which then throws all their spins out. So then they reshuffle, and then their spins. It's like lots of spins in a bubble bath, and you see how the bubbles move, and the other bubble doesn't necessarily pop the other bubble. They just sort of, you can see them, they kind of just move around each other like this, and that's what we're doing. Yeah, so that's my idea of spin. One of the reasons I used to call it spin is because we would spin 33 times. And this stabilizes your ions in your body. So if your ions in your body are flipping out, or your chakras and things need adjusting, we spin 30. This is the one thing I love hearing about from audiences is we would spin face north and then spin clockwise 33. But some people on the other side of the globe do it the other way. And I just love hearing the effects of it. The kids were fascinated because they said, well, that's the same as when you flush the toilet. So they love watching the spin of the toilet on one side of the world and the spin on this side. So some people do it with pendulums. Some people can't move. Like when I broke my back, I couldn't move. So I'd visually do it in my head. Or then I started to be able to move, so I could move my little fingers. So I'd do it on the carpet. I met this lady in, I think she's in Melbourne. She's lovely, and she's at work, and she does it with her pen. And she's got little crystals, I think, in her pen, she said, and she does it like a little wand. And so people think she's just thinking. She's a good thinker. She's like, she's really spinning. Other people do it with their cup of teas. And yeah, so, and what it does when you're spinning is it's like, you see people when they say seal your body, when they go into meditation, seal yourself and then go within. I guess it's probably like that visual, or you're going down a drain pipe like Alice in Wonderland. And so you're going into the soul, getting to your essence of you. So this is our symbol, spin beings. It's also where Richard was born, Newgrange. Why did he have to be born at Newgrange? I find that funny. This is in Dublin, Ireland. This place is this place is a interesting location, Newgrange, but it has the 3 spins. This relates to the clover, and yeah. So a lot of cultures you'll see Kokopelli in America, the ant being, he has spins. And there's other things like scrolls where they spin them. And basically, I feel like it's just coming like back. This is such a good question because this is coming back to the first question. It's remembering our essence, spinning you back to your essence. You say re-spinning the matrix. We're re-spinning back onto the essence of us.
I've always had an attraction to spirals. Even my symbol is sort of like water droplets forming a spiral. And it's interesting that when we do research into the Merkaba or the toroidal field that every living thing produces, including our bodies, it spins one way on the southern half of us and then spins the opposite way on the northern half of us, just like the planet and what you were saying about even the way water flows when you flush the toilet. So it's interesting to see the great synchronicity in all things. And then when we get into quantum physics, we see the same thing regarding quantum entanglement. So when you have two objects that are quantumly entangled, one spins one way, one spins the other way. And I also think that quantum entanglement is possible with more than two things. In a way, us all coming together and finding each other in these difficult times, we're all becoming connected um, through an entanglement process as well. And what a lot of us goes through, a lot of us else goes through the same thing in similar times. It's very, very interesting phenomena. And what I love about it too is, I used to kind of think I was a bit crazy. But then when I realized so many of us are having these experiences and realizations, we can't all be sharing the same delusion. Like this has to be a real thing. And then it gets exciting, gets very, very exciting. So yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. Do you have anything else you want to say about it before I move on to my next point?
Well, you've said something very interesting in there, Karen. You said how you have the left and the right side of the body. You have like the masculine and feminine. Then you have all the organs. Then you have the cells. And by you spinning your true essence, not only it recollects and opens you up to more space and information that's right there before you, but it also helps you let go. And this is what we're finding with a lot of people and myself and the family is letting go of illnesses, letting go of pain, letting go of memories that you don't need to wear them anymore, but you literally are wearing them on your cells. I laugh because really our cells, so all right. So we're wearing them and they become a burden. And they can get really heavy. And then you're releasing them out and allowing new ones in at the same time. So you have this so you have all these spins going on in you, but it's like a busy office building where you see them all coming in the morning, and you got the security guard going, hang on, he's just left, he's coming in, he's left, he's coming in, and this is what we're doing, and there's no 9 to 5 in this. It's yeah. So this is
So
what's
the
going on.
energies are constantly coming and going. Would
Well,
you call them energies or just?
yeah, well, I think it is energy. So as we're lifting our energies, we believe this is triggering the solar flares. So the solar flares are getting big. So they knew that they knew when we were the ones coming, they knew the chosen ones, the gifted ones, which this is what they call us as society now, the blue ones. The ones now lift the energy, trigger the solar flare, and then have law of attraction with the comets. So now at that office building, it's like they've all sent out emails at the same time, and now there's lots of it's coming in. And this is what we're finding. A lot of people are having recollection of their past lives. Lots of people are having ghosts. They're seeing things they've never seen before, and they're having it happen in a chaotic time as well, with what else is playing out in our world. So they've got the chaos, and then they're having all this awakening, and then they've got the visual stimulation from TV and the phones, and you can see how it turns into a big mess with the spins. It's one of those spins you go, really? Oh, I don't even know if that's really a spin because it's kind of warped. So it's really tricky now. It is tricky. I mean, I can speak about this with you, Karen, but if this is all going on, how do you explain that? You can't. You just got to show how calm you are.
Mhm.
And it would be very challenging on themselves, but they're meant to go through it that way too. That was their role, their path.
Yeah.
They'll have. It's not that they're behind, or they might pick up some great information through all this, or a great experience through all this. So there's no right or wrong.
Mhm. Mhm. So true. And I agree, we're not responsible for leading everybody to ultimate truth. Everybody has to go through their own process, just like we did. And, we discovered and we went through some tough times and we came out of it. We learned, and we're getting to different stages of what it means to be human. And I think other people have need to go through their challenges, just like with our children. If we do everything for them, they never learn anything. And I mean, we're there to sort of put up guardrails for them a bit, but at the same time, when we know they're ready, we take the training wheels off and let them fall a few times and make some mistakes and learn. And they get stronger, they get better, they get more self-reliant, because we don't want anybody, at least this is my opinion, we don't want anybody to be dependent on us. That's not the goal. Our goal is to have everyone find their own independence and find their own truth and their own way of being. So at least that's what I think.
Well, you
But I
said
wanted, sorry, go ahead,
well,
please.
well. I'm gonna respin it back to what you said before. You said mean, right? So me, is me in space. It's the essence of me in space. So this is how I'll describe it. So we go to a playground, and when we used to go to playground, we used to have these things called a monkey bar, and it was a bar that went across
Yeah.
like this and down, and I would spin around on it backwards and forwards with my legs, and then spin, and then flip up in the air and jump down. All the kids knew how to do this, and sometimes you'd land on your face, and your teeth would go through your tongue, and it was. But every kid knew how to do it, and you could do it with one leg. They don't put this in playgrounds in Australia here anymore because it's unsafe. And so
Mhm.
they've lost a physical indicator of finding their mean. It's funny because it's a bar as well, so I think it's quite symbolic, this story. So they've lost where they can place their mean, where they calibrate from, right? So now they have this playground that won't allow them to experience that because it's unsafe. Because little Johnny, don't go on that, little Johnny, you'll hurt yourself. Don't go on this, little Johnny, you can't do this. So they've given us dumbed down versions of playgrounds. Whereas
Mhm.
our kids, when we go to a park, they don't go on the playgrounds. They grab a vine and climb up to the highest tree. And this is where my hair goes white. and, and I have other parents going, do you know what your children are doing? I'm that parent. I'm going, yeah, they're gonna be okay. I can't go into their fear of
Mhm.
incapable child. I have to go into, I trust them. They've climbed so many trees, and they're excited by it. They've got their mean, and this little Johnny over here has their mean. You can see the difference. It's a perfect example of what's going on now, because this has been so dumbed down. They don't know where their mean is, their mean high water level.
Mhm.
So it's important, like you said, to allow for the scraped knees.
Mhm. Mhm. I agree. When I was a kid, almost every kid I knew had broken their arm or their leg. I'm not saying that we want our kids to break their bones, not at all. But I was just saying it was really common. And there was always one child in our peer group, that had a cast on. It just seemed to be how it was. But kids took a lot of chances. We spent a lot of time outdoors. In fact, we were only allowed in for mealtime, or usually after supper we stayed in. but we were out all day. We weren't allowed in. We come home after school, we could have a snack and back outside again. So we had so many adventures, whereas today, and I'm not trying to say, oh, those were the good old days and things are so bad now. I'm not meaning it that way at all. But what I am noticing is there's a lot of children that are really glued to screen time, and they're not getting outside. They're not getting their vitamin D. They're not getting their natural frequencies that I believe we need from the sun. Mothers are very protective with the sunscreen and the hats and covering them up. And that's not been my experience at all. I like the sun very much. I used to stay out of it, but now I need it, especially after a long, cold winter. But at least where I live, we still have some sunshine, so I get out for walks in the sun. So I think it's a completely different social and home environment than when I was younger. And I'm not saying it was better when I was younger. In some ways, it's better now. In other ways, it was better then. But just this whole idea, though, of letting people, whether it be children or even each other, as we go through the awakening process, to learn in our own way and in our own time without us feeling like we have to rush in and fix everything for them and explain everything for them. We're just kind of here to give kind of guideposts on point directions and, help expand people's thinking. I don't know if you would agree with that, Elsa.
Well, this is one of the reasons with. I'm going to bring up something funny. I would say to the kids, okay, if you're coming inside to help me with chores. So we're going to clean some. We're going to clean some walls. And they're like, what? And I was like, well, don't sneak inside. And because there was 8 of them and I was always pregnant, they knew that I couldn't get to them fast enough, so they would sneak in and things. I was like, aha, I got you. You're coming. You can come and help me. So they would like get inside, but you have to go through this door to avoid mum because it will take her this time to walk to you. So that they would scheme how to come inside. We had they weren't allowed on the internet. They could go on the internet and watch things, but it was more a set time, So but in saying this, like you said, there's no right or wrong. Maybe then the generations that we've had the last decades, they're not meant to go outside. They were meant to collect other information for their journey here. But this has shortened their eyesight. It has affected their senses. So now we're saying, come take everything you've learned now, but bring it back to your senses as well to become the super being that you really are supposed to be running your show as. And this will help support your body through this those solar flashes and stuff, because they are very we call them shutters. They really shutter you for a reason, and maybe it's all those ones that have been locked inside. It's going shutter, wake up, let's move you outside a little bit, or move you over here a bit. It's they spoke of the Quakers. Now, I know Quakers terminology for many people is this. To us, Quakers is what's going on. It's Gaia going shake as well. Like everything is doing this, and it's shaking us. It's like it's shaking us to spin. Yeah, so it's good.
Yep.
It's a good topic.
Yep.
I love all these. I love how it's all connecting. This is great, Karen.
Oh, well, I don't have a plan. I just show up and go where the spirit directs me. Elsa, we're going to take a 1.5-minute break for a short promotion, and then we'll come back. And then I've got some other questions for you. So let's do that now, and then we'll be right back. Hi guys, break time for a short message. Are you looking for the perfect, unique seasonal gift? Check out Zenos Organite. They are my unique brand of orgone generators, and they are affordable, ethically sourced, handmade, and double charged for maximum effect. They are only available through my website, KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com. These beautiful devices are simple compounds which balance ambient energy by converting negative energy and EMF into positive healing energy with many easily confirmed health benefits. They help diminish the harmful effects of negative energies and EMF by attracting and converting them, retuning them into new and more healthful sound and light wave patterns. They also produce orgone energy, which is also known as chi, prana, zero point, and life force. And you can use these devices for focusing the mind, healing, meditation, and for spiritual growth. Zenos Organite are my unique brand of orgone generators, and they are only available through my website. Don't be fooled by imitations. Check out my website to see my latest selection at KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com. That's KarenHolton HealthCoach.com. Check them out today. Now, let's get back to the show. And we're back. So, Elsa, for the thumbnail for this video, I selected an image of a woman who is technologically enhanced. And the reason I chose that was because I was wondering if you are technologically advanced, is there some kind of technology? And I'm not talking nuts and bolts, and I'm not talking about like the Borg off Star Trek. I'm talking about spiritual enhancements that allow you to have the kind of contact that you have.
Well, this is, I think it's going to sound really corny that I just see this greater love in everyone. And as a child, I was very confused why did they say that? Why did they have to be like that? I was excited to see them. Why are they saying that to me?
Mm-hmm.
And why are they talking in that level? Why are they yelling? Why are they so angry? And I would see, I guess this is why I became a fashion photographer or did a lot of art. I was an art student for many years, is that I could see other versions of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why am I not talking to that one? Why do I get it? And, I see my own family, and sometimes I'd see it in me, in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand it. This is why I started getting really scared of mirrors, because I would see older versions, other versions, dark versions, and didn't understand it. And then my life as I grew up, I did see scary films, so it went into all that. So I was like, you can't do this. Don't do tarot cards, because that'll open up another world. And I was like, another
Mm-hmm.
one? Really? I don't want to open that world. You'll open the dark, you'll open this, you'll open that, and witchcraft, you'll open this, you'll open that. So I kind of, I was like little Johnny at the playground. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. And so I was clipping my senses, my essence of me, and my mean was getting calibrated way down here. And what happens here is you're suppressing it, because your means are
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be adjusting all the time. But down here, suppressing, trying to squeeze my life into the 3D-ness, trying to fit in with everyone around me and not stand out. What you're doing is suppressing. You create great illness and discomfort, dis-ease in yourself. And then you have the wake up.
Mm-hmm.
And the wake up for me was, I've had multiple wake ups, but one I remember, this one was a big shutdown of where it felt like, when Get Smart, he would walk through in the beginning of his thing and they would shut the doors behind him. and they were all different doors, and they would make that really big sound. That's what happened. I had just conceived Gemma and found out that I was pregnant, and we decided the obstetrician in Australia knew that we were different, and he said, "I don't think you should go to the normal prenatal classes. Maybe you should see this lady," which was very wise for him to say this to us. And I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
that's nice." And so I didn't go to any prenatal classes or anything like this with a baby. I just went to a lady that would massage my tummy,
Mhm.
and she said to me, "Have you thought about the medical plan?" I was like, I'm not going to say these words on Karen, but you get what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
And I said, no, but we'll get everything done that we need to get done. I'll have everything booked in. And she said,
Mhm.
no, I want you to really understand it. And she passed me a red book. I read the first 3 pages and my whole world just crumbled in on itself like a labyrinth. All the stairs
Mhm.
falling away, everything I had been taught through schooling just went. I mean, it was already crumbling. It was already having
Mhm.
broken off, but this crumbled it really quickly. I only read I'm not a very good reader. Like, I don't like reading things. Um,
Mhm.
I only think I always read, I'm so sneaky, I always read the first part, then I read 2 middle bits and the end, and, I think I cried for 2 weeks. It was just
Aw.
the reason it was saying is, "Why are they doing this to us?" And this was what I would always say as a child working through is, "Why am I seeing that version?" Well, and after
Mhm.
I read these pages, I was like, "Why have I believed?"
Mhm.
I was so mad. I felt
Mhm.
like being tricked. I was not happy those 2 weeks. I was crying in anger, um,
Mhm.
how much time we all waste in this rubbish,
Mhm.
and all that rubbish, we can respin it and use it to be greater versions of ourselves. So then everything I had been doing became more
Mhm.
because it wasn't getting suppressed anymore. So everything that I was suppressing for the comfort of others, not myself.
Yes, for the comfort of others. Mhm.
Yeah, I was a pleaser.
Yep.
And pleaser and policing, it really is it's whenever you feel that energy, it's icky.
Yep.
It's icky in
It's
yourself.
it's a
Yeah.
violation. It's a violation.
Mm.
I was really resonating with what you were saying, and for me, like, I always knew I was weird, but I didn't understand why I perceived everything differently than everybody else. But when it came to my first pregnancy and my second one, oh my God, I kept I just knew, like, all everything they were telling me was wrong. It was all wrong, and I couldn't understand, why are they telling me I have to do this and I have to do that, and why are they, like, it didn't make any sense, and the only, feedback I ever got from anybody was gaslighting, which then made me feel like I was wrong or there was something wrong with me, and it's only been really, for me, since I got older, that I've come to realize that we're all being gaslit, and so many of us have these senses where we know that things are just not right, that they don't have to be this way. It's not that hard to create loving, peaceful, supportive societies. It's not that hard to get along. It's easier. But for some reason, and we know why, we won't get into it on YouTube, the powers that be need us to be in conflict, need us to be in deception. The pattern, or what I call the construct, is really not healthy, I don't think, for anybody. But we have our choice. We can play along and absolutely give everything we have to it or not. And I couldn't. I couldn't. Like, I'm different. I don't know why or how. And this is why I come up with the question about technology. Do we have etheric implants? Do we have like something gives us the gift of sight. I don't exactly know what, because it's not like I'm a really holy person or I'm so good that I deserve the gift of sight. Not at all. I'm pretty ordinary. So I just thought I would just get your thoughts on it because I know that you have a great amount of insight, and quite often when I'm talking to you, you just start channeling and start sharing, your realizations, which are always profound. So I
Well,
just thought I would ask you about that.
well, I feel like you've just channeled so you said a question, the first original question about this lady, the visual on the promo. And so last night before I went to bed, Gemma just came home and she was lying on the bed speaking about her kinesiology and how it keeps shape shifting with her. And so she's done a kinesiology course so that she has the certificate, but she already does this and this. So her mean keeps changing. And she was lying on the bed talking about how it's coming through differently because her means are changing, right? And then she said, so how do your means come in? Like, how do she said that to me. And then she says when she does kinesiology with me, she said, well, out of everything that she does in kinesiology, Neff, this other family that seems to be involved in her life, says she just comes through clearly. So when Gemma does kinesiology with me, she said it's so clean, the message
Mhm,
doesn't have any goop on it. She said it's quite interesting because when she does kinesiology with herself or others, she says the information comes through and she's got to uh, check it all the time with the chakras, and whereas she says it just comes through so direct and clean. And so this
mhm,
being that you're speaking about, possibly I feel, if I had to explain it, I think it's because of that feeling as a child. Well, I carried that, or seeing the I could seeing the true versions in others, seeing the light, in seeing the essence in others is something that I've been able to do. And
mhm,
this is why I could take pictures of people and find their most perfect angle for that moment in their
mhm,
life.
mhm,
And people would be so drawn to these pictures that I would take of themselves because I would get the bestest version of them at that moment. And then that created then law of attraction. It would sell the
mhm,
covers, or they sell their product, or make them feel uplifted. So then they would get bigger um, movie roles, or yeah. So you can see what happens. So through one seeing the true essence of another and giving it a little bit of light on it, wow.
mhm,
And I know this works because I would do it. This was my career. I would see someone who didn't see much in them. I would see something completely different in them. And then I would capture it on film, and then they could go off and show it to the world
mhm,
and create from that new mean of them. And so I know this works. Now we've got to take the photo shoot theory that I have, and now
mhm.
that's what we're doing. Like you said, we're not gaslighting them. We're like just creaking the door open and shining a little light into that room for them, and they go, "Oh, I didn't even know we had that room in the house."
Yeah, yeah.
But you can you see what I'm saying? And I think when
Mhm,
you ask me
mhm,
about this being, I feel like you've channeled that being. Can you see what I'm saying, Karen? Like, I feel like
mhm,
you've
mhm,
channeled that. Yeah. So that's the unique ways that Karen is presenting and showing up. She's tapping into the guests and knowing what questions to ask, so that it opens another door in Elsa, and it opens a door, and then the light shines in. You go, really? Another room?
I think we do that for each other. Now, Elsa, we're coming close to the end. We still got 10 minutes. I'm wondering, what is your advice to people who just know they're weird, know they sense things, and they're tired of shutting it off or stuffing it or pretending that they're so-called normal. What is your advice to people as they start to see realities that the mainstream is not acknowledging? What can they do, to get not just get support, but what can they do? I don't know. How can they look at it so that they don't feel so ostracized and so marginalized?
All right, so just say they're watching this show for the first time and they've had a maybe ghost encounter or ET or something, or their loved one's passing, or they've lost all their money or their home in a crisis, and they've seen this show right now. What's the best advice we can give them? And the best
Mhm.
advice we can give them would be, you've heard the calling of you. You've heard the essence of you. And so now what are you going to do with it? And you go, oh, well, I've
Mhm.
got all this stuff to do today. No, you don't. What do you want to do now? Like, what is your calling? Oh, I want to see more shows like this. I want to connect more with these people. Go to the ones who show and tell their truth, their true ring. And you'll start to find that you won't be able to watch those programs anymore that you used to watch. Because those rooms, they're tired. The furniture needs to be redone. The room needs to be feng shui. You want to go to this new room, which
Mhm.
you want to get there. And then you'll want to open another room. And you might go through down the rabbit hole. You might have a few dark nights of the soul, but follow the ones who ring true, the ones that make you feel good. Sometimes the ones that make you feel good make you feel irritated at first because it's doing the shutter effect on you.
Mhm.
It's shaking off
Mhm.
all the things you don't need. And a lot of people, when they first meet me, I can feel them not like me. And that's okay, because that to me means they're getting a little bit shuttered. And I go, oh, this is a good thing. So I'm sorry you don't like me, but I'm kind of glad as well, because it's giving them a shutter. It's keeping them away from me because they don't like me. But it's also
Mhm.
going, wakey, 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 like that. And people that affect me this way is the same thing as well. And so go be around the ones that speak the truth. Stop giving your space to all the other stuff and go with the new room. That's my best advice, because if you keep staying in these other stale rooms, then they you get shuttered bigger.
Mhm.
Shuttering bigger, I have to say, sucks. It really sucks. But maybe you might have to go through that. So, yeah, but it does. It's just not fun. It's not fun
Mhm.
moments. You're meant to have that, so you know how good this one feels over here, and then
Yes.
you're finding your mean in that. And so, like on a full moon, I know not be around that person.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah. So you start finding different ways to move your ship through all this. So that's my advice.
Mhm.
So I hope that
That's
helps.
good. That's good advice. When I first started out, there used to be a lot more weird stuff on YouTube. It seems to have gotten more conservative over the years, and I'm not talking politics when I say conservative. But, I used to watch everything, and, I was like I was hungry all the time, and I was watching shows on Nibiru and shows on all kinds of cool stuff, and what we often think of as conspiracy theories. But I found that quite often when I watched something that when I looked at the thumbnail, I thought, "Oh, that's ridiculous, that can't be true," but I'd watch it anyway, and I was actually quite pleasantly surprised. Many times I found that made more sense than the more popular videos. So I spent a lot of time watching YouTube videos in the beginning because we didn't really have Rumble. I'm talking like about 10 years ago. We didn't really have Rumble or Odyssey or Telegram or X was, I don't even think it was popular yet, but we had good old YouTube. But anyway, I also had some periods of unwellness And the unwellness came from years of suppressing my true self, listening to the medical advice from the doctors. And I'm not saying, please don't take me wrong, I'm not giving medical advice here. I'm not saying you shouldn't listen to your doctor, that you shouldn't seek qualified medical help. I wouldn't say that. But what I'm saying is what I did in my corner of the world is I started to eat better. I started to notice when I ate this way, or I got more sunshine, or I got out for a walk every day. I felt a lot better, and I started just to improve my life. But anyway, I had quite a bit of time where I was a bit down for the count and didn't have a lot of energy. And, as much as I regretted being in that state, it was the perfect environment to allow me to watch all these videos and all these different programs that opened up my mind. And at least I knew I wasn't the only weird person. I knew there was lots and lots of us, and some a lot more out there than me. So that sort of helped a lot. Eventually, what happened is I started to become more discerning. I could just feel my energy drop when I watched certain podcasts, and other podcasts energized me. And I started to notice the way I felt when I was exposed, either online or in person, or food I ate or whatever. And it's amazing how the body signals us and lets us know what's in our favor and what's not. Anyway, I didn't mean to ramble on and on, Elsa. I just wanted to talk from my own experience. And I wondered if you have any thoughts to do with any of that.
So you said we're doctor, and we're not doctors. But you
No.
said if you're seeing a doctor, see the doctor. Doctor is to see ta. To see ta is to see the two of you. So everything you just spoke of, the spirit of Karen, and then the spirit, the act of Karen. So the witnessing of yourself. Can you all please see the doctor of you, your own doctor first?
Mhm.
No one knows you better than you. It's just you've got to remember the two of you. Once you remember the two of you, then you can work together. If you're only in default or acting one side of you, you your whole spins off.
Mhm.
So being the doctor of yourself first will give you better insights of where to go. And so
Mhm.
I this is such a I've never looked at this word like this before. So um and this is a lot of where the trickery comes in, is with the wordplay, and it's right before us,
Mhm.
and we've just got to now like watch those little rooms open up and be allowing as well, because sometimes those
Mhm.
rooms might look a bit scary. So
Mhm. So true. So, Elsa, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? Of course, the links will be in the description below, but especially for those that are listening on audio, tell people where they can find you and what you've got planned,
we
with your YouTube channels or programs you're going to be on, or programs you've recently been on, whatever you want to tell folks. Where can they find out more about you?
we have our website spinbeings.com, and we have little short videos that link you to shows like I've just done with Karen. I've done quite a few with Karen, so um, I love going back and listening to them, because I get great insights when I hear our conversations, things I didn't pick up on. I see new rooms open up. We have a YouTube channel as well, and all the other medias. We offer one-on-ones when people start asking more direct questions, because sometimes those questions are only for you to hear, not others. So the others
Mhm.
are not. That's not where their path is at yet. So we don't share that on the audiences. We do come into get invited to groups as well, where we come in and meet like a group of 50 or 150 in chat groups, where it's not recorded, and we just do Q&As or back and forth communications, which is always nice because I'm getting to travel all around the world while I still get to be half in my jammies.
Yeah, it's great.
So I'm like a half, I call myself a halfie. I'm half dressed, I'm half not. Yeah, so we're doing this. We are also on a channel with Sheila Seppi. It's called Conscious Network Awakening, and she's been so kind and offered a channel. And this is just about to change again, so you can also go in through there, and they'll have interviews and things that we don't put on our YouTube channel. They're probably a bit more deeper. So
Mhm.
this will be exclusive to her. So this is where we're sort of going at the moment, and taking each day step by step.
Wonderful. It's been just great as always to spend time with you. I find you very encouraging and very affirming. Thank you so much for being you and for coming on the show again. I appreciate you so very much. I'm planning I'm feverishly working on finishing my book and getting it published. Once I get that done, I actually want to plan an online conference that is with a number of my friends who have made contact, or what we would call experiencers or contactees, and I want to put together an online conference that addresses the issue of how to prepare for contact, because it's coming, it's happening, and I think that there's a lot of advice that we have that we can give to people. So that's about it for the program today. And I want to thank all the listeners and the viewers, whether you're here in the live chat or whether you're watching the replay. I appreciate every one of you very, very much. And we'll just keep doing what we do. And we'll see you next week on Aliens and Angels. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for joining me for the Aliens and Angels podcast. Become the change that you wish to see in the world. Subscribe to my YouTube, Rumble, and X channels at Karen Holton TV. Click the like button, leave me a comment, and share this podcast with your friends. Check out my website at www.karenholtonhealthcoach.com to see my free resources and amazing products and services. All of the links will be in the description below. As part of the Forbidden Knowledge Network, you will also find the Quantum Guide Show with Karen Holton on all audio platforms. Until next time, keep up the good work.